Hello, everybody. How's it going, everybody? I see some good mornings. How's everyone feeling today? I think we must be feeling pretty awesome. Hi, how's it going, Josh? Nice, nice, nice to see you, Josh, Esther, Betty. Wow, wow, wow. Ismail Rianti. Ismail, are you from Jakarta? Hi, morning, morning. Suto Siang. Oh my gosh, our resident live superstar. So good to have you guys. If you can hear me loud and clear and ready to rock and roll today, give me a bit of a thumbs up, guys, so that you can, so that I know that it's live out there. I'm getting used to doing all this Facebook live, so pretty exciting what we've got for you today. But yeah, so gang, let's get going. So tell me where you're logging in from, guys. Where are you listening to this live from? Some of you are still in Penang. I think with our recent announcement from the PM, our conditional MCO is going to be until the 9th of June. But then there are some people that are trying to travel back to their hometown with Raya around the corner. And so it's a pretty big holiday for all of us. But I think we've got to log in from. We've got to celebrate it quietly at home. Yeah. All right, Josh Puchong. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Loud and clear. Thank you, Suto Siang. All right, Betty, all the way from Penang. Woohoo! Okay, so that's great, 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 gang. How are you guys doing at home? Yvonne, nice to see you. How are you guys doing at home? Are you enjoying yourself now? How many of you are getting used to working from home? How many of you are used to being at home? How many of you have got some new hobbies? You know, if you've got some new hobbies, type them down. I've got some new hobbies. I've been trying to learn how to cook without poisoning myself. So, for those of you who are good cooks, share your recipes in the comments as well before we rock and roll. And so, yeah, I think with a lot of what is happening with our country, with our industries. I think it's a constant juggle between the health pandemic as well as the business pandemic that is coming through, guys. So for me, I think what is very, very important is that all of us here are very, very keen to learn, and we're making the best out of this business pandemic by investing in ourselves. All right. So this is a very, very important thing that we can do now, even though we can't go full force in the business. Okay. And that's a challenge for some of us as business owners and entrepreneurs. Okay. All right. So if you're ready to rock and roll, guys, how many of you are ready to jump right in and to know your leadership intelligence? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a bit of a heart. You know, Facebook has this new, you know, give me a hug. You know, they had to create that because now we can't give hugs to each other. Like if I see you, I have to go, hi, how are you? Like how the Thais do it, sawadika. So if you see me, I'm gonna do this. But you know, but if you can leave a hug, the care icon, that'll be great. Yvonne's baking bread. Oh my gosh, a number of people that are baking bread, and you know what are all these posts going around on burnt cheesecake? You know, people are just going mad with burnt cheesecake. Okay, so good. Please, please, yeah, Yvonne, if that's a gift for you, please set up your bakery. I'll be sure to come by after all this is done. All right. So I can't wait to see all my friends. I'm missing everybody. Those of you who are following my Facebook page, I just went out and I did my first cycle. I usually go in a group of like 20 or 30 riders and cyclists, but I had to go alone this time. So, but anyways, it's all good. Those of you who are enjoying, Elizabeth, nice to see you. Superstar, doing a lot of fantastic videos on branding. Thank you, Liz. All right. So let's go jumping in, gang. Today we're going to talk about knowing your leadership intelligence. So I think this is a very, very key part of knowing who we are in the business. I think it's very, very important in us knowing who we are. Ooh, trying to make berdak sejuk, family tradition, which I have not done before. Oh my gosh. You know, that's really, really cool, berdak sejuk, because you know, it's like, you know, is it like the Myanmar, my Myanmar friends have those on their faces. It cools down the face, not so pimply. That's very important. Okay. So guys, let's go jumping in, and as I go into today's session, please leave me your questions, leave me your comments, so that I can still feel your love. No, that's very important. Feeling the love is very important for the speaker, because it inspires her to share more. That's me, okay? So I'm glad that you guys are all here today. And how many of you are ready to rock and roll? Give me a thumbs up, and then we will start. Now, knowing your leadership intelligence, gang, this is a very, very crucial part of being in business, if I may. And what I'm going to share with you today is a lot of it is about, give me a second. Ooh, okay, ready to rock and roll, Josh? Thank you, Betty. Now, a lot of it has to do with discovering yourself. And if I may, leadership is all about discovery, and a lot of people try to lead their ship before lead others before learning how to lead their own ship. So leadership for me has always been about the journey. It's a journey of discovery, in knowing who you are, knowing how you show up in your life, in your business, in within your team, among your partners, your business partners, among your customers, yeah. And that's very, very crucial, because knowing your leadership intelligence is so important, because it talks a lot about how conscious we are, how aware we are about who we bring into the journeys of others. And you see, when we're leading our team, we're leading our organizations, it's no longer just about us. And for some of you, you're on this call, you may be freelance, you may be self-employed. That's also fine. And now a lot of the mistakes that people make is that they think that, hey, if I'm I only need leadership when I am leading a lot of people. I'm leading 10 people, I'm leading 100 people, I'm leading 500 people. Oh, that's when I need leadership. No, that's not true. We need to know how to lead our own ship. Don't forget, we've got customers to deal with. Now, don't forget, we've got even extended team members to deal with. So leadership is very important from so many standpoints, gang. Yeah. So I'm gonna go running into today's topic, and if you guys have questions, please leave them. I'll come right to all of them at the end, and I will answer all your questions as I can. Angela, good to see you. Thanks for making this. Good. All right. So let's rock and roll. So why is leadership intelligence important? Why is knowing who we are important in knowing who we are? Yeah. And for me, one of the things that are very, very important, if I may, is avoiding autopilot responses. When I say avoiding autopilot responses, sometimes we are in business and in life, we have developed ways and programs, ways of dealing with people, ways of dealing with ourselves, that sometimes we're running on autopilot, if I may. So I'll just give you an example. Yeah. This particular person that's a CEO, he's run an amazing business, and he's from the production industry, very, very successful filmmaker in every way. One of the things that we found is that when he got funds to invest and grow a business, he grew quickly into 125 employees, and he's got offices in like 8 to 10 different countries. So he's gone regional very, very quickly through a digital media company. So pretty amazing. But one of his, and I noticed because we worked with him, one of the autopilot responses that he always gives is, when he's being given a very important detailed document, he would say, no, please go and talk to my staff. Oh, something legal. Oh, please go and talk to my lawyers. Oh, something financial. Go and talk to my accountant. Now, I understand a lot of CEOs, and if you run bigger organizations, you have to do that. You need a dedicated team to do that. But one of the challenges that he's also found, and this of course is that's why I don't mention names, but one of the challenges that he's found is that he's always been he's always losing, making mistakes and the mistakes are all in the details. The mistakes are inside the business model. It's inside the legal documents. It's inside, and he's been cheated a few times by people that he trusted. And the challenge with that is, what kind of automatic response was he giving? That automatic response was around being too big picture, just going straight, okay, legal, okay, financial. Now, that's a challenge for us as business owners, because when we understand our leadership intelligence, this is a very crucial part of making sure that we don't go autopilot, and we know when we have to switch on certain programs that will protect us. Okay, so this is very, very important. Yeah. Moving on, what's also important, gang, is that we also know who we need to have in our team based on who I am. Yeah, I like to call it the Avenger team. Yeah, how many of you like Avengers? If you like the X-Men, you like the Avengers, you like all of that. You know, I'm a comic fan from growing up. I'm a comic fan. I think whatever, because I grew up with my father and my brother, late father, loving comics, and so I grew up loving comics. It's very, very unusual, but I akin that to leadership. So based on who you are, you also know who you need to have around you, because how many of you know what I'm talking about? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you got to go together. And this is one of the things, because it's from an African proverb, those of you have heard it before, because as an entrepreneur, and when you build a business, when you build an organization with visions and missions that are worth fulfilling, and everybody wants to join that mission of yours, you need to know how to leverage off other people's strengths, because we're not perfect human beings. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Perfection is not something that we can. Oops. Yeah. Are you guys seeing my slides loud and clear? Oh. There's a bit of a box there. Can you see? Oh, there's a bit of a box on my slides. Give me a second, guys. Are you seeing the box as well? Let me just see if I can do that again. All right. Just don't want this to affect us in any way. Can you guys see a box? Yeah. Hey, Emma. Nice to have you. Okay, let me just make sure that all this is good. And then I'll share again. Oh, there is a box. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, strange. Okay, thank you so much, Betty. Let me try this again. Just want to remove that. Okay. All right. Can you see it now, gang? Okay, no box. Oh, yes, there's a box, but it's fine. So sweet, you guys. Okay. All right. Great stuff. Okay, perfect. Oh, these days with the technology. Thank you for highlighting it, though. Thanks, gang. Yeah. So getting back to the Avenger bit, it's actually very, very important to know who we are, because we get to leverage on people. And because I think one of the things that I realized, when you're a small business, you probably have enough skills and enough time, right, to be able to do all of it yourself. You know, you've got all the skills, and a lot of business owners, they have most of the skills: marketing skills, operation skills, sales skills, a bit of HR. So you have a little bit of everything. But when you want to get bigger, like, you know, the later parts of Avenger, the team became so big because the bad guy was so bad, right? The bad guy was really bad. So they needed like to go and recall all the superheroes from everywhere, even some of them have retired, you know. So they call, and the band of Avengers became so big, and they leveraged on every single strength. None of them could defeat the big bad guy by themselves, you know. But what was important is that they were. Oh, is the box back? Oh dear. Oh dear. I'm not sure. Are you guys okay with the box there? I'm not sure why that is. Pretty strange. Can I just remove that? Oh yeah, there's still the box right there. Okay. Okay. Give me a second. Let me see if the box moves. Oh, now I know why there's a box. It's because I've got my notes here. Okay. All right. So let me try and make it smaller. Oh, it's still there. Okay. Never mind. Never mind. I'm just gonna remove this. All right. I'm just gonna remove this off the back. Cool. Okay. All right. You still see the box now? Okay, so I've removed that. So I just want to make sure that you guys are still okay. Sorry about that, gang. Okay. All right. Okay, it's fine. Let's live with the box. Okay, no, I've removed it. The box is meant to appear. Thank you, Jessie. So destined. Don't mind at all. All right. Okay. So let me see if I can. I just want to make sure that it's not going to disturb us. All right. Okay. All right. Good. All right. So we'll just live with the box today. All right. Okay, so moving on, yeah, it's really really important to ensure that okay, we're resilient. Thank you. You guys are super awesome. Okay, so having your Avenger team, so knowing who you need to have in your team. All right, gang. So that's very very important. Okay, and what is also important about knowing who you are, your leadership intelligence, is also that you have a clearer and clearer why. Now this is important because why I say a very clear why is important is that in business, it's very important to know what excites us. It's very important to know what we're passionate about. We're not necessarily passionate about everything. Like for me and my team, we're passionate about helping businesses, but exactly what part do you want to play? What role do you want to play? So what are and you see, these are the things that we will really understand about ourselves. For example, what are your values? What is your values? Yeah, your value, what you hold valuable is what is important to you. And your belief systems are different for many different people. So for example, your beliefs are what you hold to be true. All right. And now this is very important because for some of you, if you've understood the identity iceberg, you've seen the identity iceberg. Part of it is at the top, your decisions, your actions, your behaviors. Yeah, all those are at the top. If I may, what is under the waterline? Your skills, your beliefs, your values, your identity, all that is not very obvious. I don't show you the identity iceberg here, gang, but I've showed it in so many of my different seminars. But if I may, the identity iceberg actually shows that there are so many elements beneath the waterline that fuels. I use the word fuel. It fuels our actions, it fuels our decisions, it fuels our behaviors at the top. Yeah, because we don't just simply do stuff. Does that make sense? I use the word simply. We don't simply do stuff. And the reason why I bring this forward is because for some of you who know me, when you came for my book launch in the Great Business, Great Life. I launched my second book in 2016. Yeah, actually, prior to that, I was starting to lose my way. I was losing my way because I was getting burnt out. I was overworked. Now, some of you may identify with that, where you've got so much going on, and sometimes you're wondering. And I had so much going on, guys. I was traveling to 3 or 4 different countries a month. I was spending like almost. I'd be lucky if I can spend 2 weeks in a stretch in Kuala Lumpur. I was traveling so much that I could recognize KLIA2 more than I could recognize my parents' home. But I hardly went home. My health started failing. I was dropping hair. I was also putting on so much weight. I don't look like this now. So I lost 12 kilograms. As a result of realizing that I was burnt out. And that's when I realized actually my life was slipping away. Although I was running a pretty regional business, I was really going places, but I realized that I was losing my life. So that was not the kind of value that I wanted. So when I understood myself, I could identify with, hey, this is not what I want. I didn't want to be rich but poor in every sense of the word. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Rich but poor. So I adjusted my life. I actually resigned from a lot of positions. I resigned from businesses. I've cleaned up a lot. I focused on my core business. And then I launched the Great Business, Great Life book. And actually now we're more successful than we've ever been. We've got more coaches on board than we've ever been. We're in 3 different countries now. And I even did for those of you on my Facebook page, I even did my round trip around Taiwan. I cycled around Taiwan for 10 days. So it was 100 kilometers on average every single day, but I did it. And that was part of my bucket list. And I would never have been able to do that based on the business model that I was in back then. So I was not very clear with my why. Yeah. And for some of you, if you have ever heard of that before, tell me if those are happening to you or have happened to you before. And what did you do to come back? I call it coming back to who you are. Yeah, coming back to who you are and knowing what you stand for. See, that's why knowing what's below the waterline is very important in leadership intelligence. Yeah. Josh, I think there's a box. Yeah. I thank you so much. Josh is really, really deep. But I think it's actually a bit of a problem on the slide because actually it's my notes. I think that's my notes. So I want to be able to share it clearly with you. So I have my notes, but it's okay. We'll just keep the box there for the time being. All right. Yes, Jesse, we're diving in deep. Yeah, we're going in deep. Okay. So, and the next part, why is it important to also know your leadership intelligence, guys, is that you also know how to focus. You know how to say no. And being able to say no is actually very, very important because when you're able to say no, you're able to, I call it when you say no, you are kind of, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna remove the notes, all right? Because I think it's irritating. Yeah. So you see, the notes are gone. It's just really, really funny because I think that's one of the things because I have got my notes there and it's got an outline of the notes. But anyway, no problem. Yeah. So let's continue with this. Thank you, Emma. Exactly. Knowing ourselves and realizing our life and objective will be clearer. And this is one of the things. Thank you so much, Emma, is because when we run our businesses, are we running businesses or are we running businesses that drive our life purpose? Now, this is very important because a lot of people, they design the business first and then they design their life. Now, that was my mistake. I designed my business. I had a goal, I had a target, but I did not necessarily question how I wanted my life to be while running that business or growing that business. And that was how I ran away with so many initiatives, so many different directorships, so many different projects that I spread myself so thin and I did not question. Now, it did not mean that I should have done less. It did not mean that, but what it meant was there was a smarter way of doing it. And when I removed all the distraction, okay, now this is very important. Removing the distraction because the minute I understood my leadership intelligence, I understood my core, I understood what I stand for, I understood how to use my strength instead of using where I struggle. All right. When I knew how to do that, I knew how to focus. Now, I'll give you a very simple example to focusing. Now, this is important because when you focus, you also know how to say no easily. Now, saying no doesn't mean no, and I don't want to friend you anymore. No, no, no. Saying no means you are actually not hurting someone's feelings. Tweak that. When you say no, you are protecting your own initiatives. You're protecting what is important to you. Now, if I may, thank you. Be passionate, whatever you're doing, then you will know how to say no. Fantastic. So one of the things that I knew how to say no to, team, people that are on this call, are, for example, meetings on the weekend. Yeah, I knew how to say no to that. Meetings very late at night. I know some people like to meet at 9, 10 o'clock at night. For me, I'm up very, very early. So I'm literally up like at 5:45 or 6 in the morning. I have my first coaching session at 7 a.m. So I clock off at 4 p.m. and I'm in bed. I'm in bed by like 9 p.m. For those of you who text me and say, "Hi, Maresa, how are you?" I'm like, I'm out. But because I know how to. And what was very important to me, my values, was my energy, my time. Now, the energy is important because so many people depend on that energy from me. So many people, some of you on this call, the energy is important. But what about my clients, the people that come to us and need me to be clear of thought and mindfulness in order to guide them? What about my coaches, my team members? So those are all very important things that I needed to protect. If I didn't protect that, I stretched myself across over the weekend. I'm not being responsible to the people I'm supposed to be responsible for, responsible to. Does that make sense? So when we are clear about who we are, We know how to say no, we know how to say no with love and care. To me, that's important, and to help find alternatives. Yes, I think Betty says, yes, I think some of us forget to build a boundary for our own space, just try not to miss out on things. That's right. That fear of losing out, so that's very, very important. And when you know who you are, you don't fear losing out. That's really, really key. Yes, fantastic. Removing the distraction, focusing, and being able to say no. As I get older, if I may, all of us on that journey, we learn how to say more no's than yeses, and that's important, especially if you're in a very vibrant, high growth business. Sometimes, most times, this is what I've learned from one of my teachers recently. When you say more no's, you're better off. So this is actually very, very, but of course, be careful what you say no to. That's what I'm going to get into. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I didn't already introduce myself, my name is Maresa. I'm the CEO and founder of the Spark Group Asia. Myself and my team of leadership intelligence coaches were very, very excited to continue educating you every single day. So, for those of you who are not like our Spark Group Asia, the Spark Group Asia, like our fan page, and also please join our group. Uh, the leaders of the new norm. Yeah, please search for that. It's okay if you can find it now, or stay focused for now on this program. Go find it later. The leaders of the new norm. Our Facebook group, we actually share a lot of insights and tips like this. So I'm going to get into more of it. Yeah. Very, very good. So this is a little bit about me, guys. Those of you who know me for a very long time, actually, I know some of you here. I've been coaching and turning around businesses and leaders since 2008. Now, that's 12 years of working with leaders and entrepreneurs. But guys, what I'm going to share with you today are not just all the different examples of people that have hit walls. Yeah, it's and also came out the other side, have gone underwater, bloop, 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 and then now, now they can breathe. A lot of those stories are going to come through along with my own story, so I'm going to share a lot of that as we go along. Okay, so thank you very much. And then let's go into this now. One of the things that are very, very important, and if I may, I'll just share that over here for a bit. Yeah, because we want to uncover our leadership intelligence. All right, uncovering our leadership intelligence can be two ways. You can use the steep learning curve or the flat learning curve. So I think some of us sometimes we need the flat learning curve. Now, what's a flat learning curve? So a flat learning curve in learning who you are is when you have time. You have time to reflect, you have time to ask yourself those questions, you have time. So sometimes the flat learning curve is not so bad. For me, I appreciate that. What you guys are experiencing now in learning who you are is what we call the flat learning curve. Now, I've been thrown, and I don't know some of you, how many of you have experienced a steep learning curve? The steep learning curve is, oh my gosh, when you are shoved right into it, no time to think, no time to feel, you're almost at the highest, most intense emotions. It could be a particular employee's reaction, someone leaving. It could be a business partner saying something to you, or it could be a great deal of money that you've lost. It could be things that you're shoved into and you have to react. Now that's a steep learning curve, because then we're forced to understand, and we're pushed and shoved almost into the deep end. And of course, for us as entrepreneurs, we're pretty good at, we know how to paddle, we know how to float, but sometimes is that necessary for us? Yeah. So, but again, there are choices. Is it the steep or the learning curve? So which one do you prefer? I mean, for me, I prefer the flat learning curve. I got time to think. So that's amazing. Yeah, there's always been a steep learning curve. Thank you, Peggy, and thank you, Angela. Flat learning curves are amazing because it gives you time to really identify who you want to be and what you want to do with your life. Yeah. So I'm going to go into that today. All right. So, and before I go into that, there are so many ways that you can uncover your leadership intelligence. So how do you know what you stand for? How do you know what you're willing to do? How do you know what's your why? How do you know what your values are? So there are several ways, and I want to share it with you. Okay. So the first way that I always appreciate, feedback from friends. So if I may, I'm just going to bring this back. Whoop. All right. So one of the things that I really appreciate are feedback from close friends, and especially feedback from brutal friends. When they are brutal, they'll say, "Hey, Marissa, you've been doing this for a pretty long time, and you always have the same challenges, isn't it time that you think about dot dot dot. So you have some brutally honest friends. But if I may, sometimes friends, if you don't mind me saying, friends are they're more friends than people that want to see you successful. So sometimes they're on your side so much and they say, don't worry, it's gonna be all right, and sometimes they're just being nice, so if you have brutally honest friends, good for you. But if I may, some friends, they're being friends and they're there to be the shoulder to cry on. They're not the ones that will kick your butt. I've got friends that um kick my butt, but you know who kicks my butt the most is my coach. He doesn't give me a soft kick, all right? So sometimes it's really, but sometimes that's really, really necessary. Yeah. Another thing that will also help you to design your leadership intelligence. Awesome, Peggy. It is a great way to speed up learning, shorter and instant result. In the hospitality industry, oh gosh, if you're in hospitality, guys, there's so much leadership. You've got to really question, yeah, your values. Great topic, Marissa. Sharing on experience is the best. Thank you so much, Emma. Oh, and this is very, very important now because how we also design our leadership intelligence is also feedback. Feedback from your team. Now, and for me, the feedback is either willing or unwilling. Okay. If I could, and this is something that I've learned from all the years of running my own teams and also looking at clients running their teams. All right. The best feedback from employees, all right, the best feedback from employees are the ones that they really give you in an exit interview. Oh my gosh. It's because sometimes they have already nothing to lose. They've already gone to the nth degree of just go, you know what? I've left. I have no strings attached. I want to just give it to my boss. I want to tell it to you so that you know because I care about you. I left because I couldn't work here, but I still care about you as a person. I want to make sure that you go out right. Now, I've had a lot of very good employees that have also given me this feedback. But the thing is, do they need to exit in order to give this feedback? So this is a very important part. That's why our clients are what we encourage our clients to do is we actually encourage a feedback 360. So they do that with an independent body like us or a coaching organization. We actually send out those links to give feedback on the leadership, and it has got to be anonymous. So if you get feedback and then there's the person's name and the person's email, they're just going to tell you what they want to hear. But if you're the kind of leader that can receive feedback and it's anonymous, you don't need to know their names, you don't need to know who said this, who said that, because sometimes I debrief this feedback and the first question from the CEO, who wrote this? Who? I want to know now. Oh gosh, it's not about knowing who, right? So if I may, it's also beyond that where it doesn't matter who said it, but that's what they're experiencing. That's what the team is experiencing from you as their leader. Then there's no good and bad. It's just feedback. You see, that's the thing. There's no good and bad. It's just feedback. That's how they're experiencing you. All right. So this is a very good. If you're Christine, if you're not ready to hear honest feedback, then don't ask for it. That is absolutely true. Absolutely true. Thank you so much, Christine. Absolutely. And this is the thing about getting feedback. There are some leaders, they get the feedback, but they're not necessarily ready and open to listen to it. And this is again, and the thing is, whether you want to hear it or not, the feedback is going to come into your life whether you like it or not. That's why it's willing or unwilling feedback, because how our employees are, we don't need to wait for them to leave in order for them to send a very loud message our way about what we can change. That's what I'm trying to get at, all right? So if we read it well, we don't have to go through all that and still keep the gems that we have, the gems of our talent. How we also identify, thank you, Peggy, super awesome. Thank you, Marissa. I forgot to use this method. It will help our management if I have an anonymous response. Absolutely, thank you. Fantastic, awesome, awesome. Another way that you can also identify your leadership intelligence, guys, is, and this is what I get our clients to do, and this is what I do personally as well, all right? So uh, you analyze the problems that you have, you analyze the challenges that you have. Oh, thank you. A lot of questions are coming in, gang. If I can get the team, I've got my team and the back end helping us. Can you help me to mark some of these questions, and I'll come back to it. We're going to have tons of time for Q&A in a bit. All right, awesome questions. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll come to it. um, so what I tend to do is, if you want to understand who you stand for, how you lead, how you grow, look for, and see, when you grow, you are going to push boundaries, and when you push boundaries, there's going to be resistance, there's going to be friction. And the thing is, you want to be able to analyze what we call the frictions. You want to identify, you want to analyze the challenges. So analyzing your challenges is very important, because we are the common denominator with everybody else. So, and I like to use this story. I don't know whether you've heard this story of, and it's a joke. I think they told a joke. I can't remember the joke at the end of it. This guy that got married to four different women, and then he was sitting at a restaurant or a cafe, and then he was complaining to his friend, and he was saying, you know, what's wrong with women these days? I don't know. I don't understand them. I don't know who, why, what. I mean, I've had four marriages, four failed ones. I don't even know if I want to get married again. So if you heard that joke before, I don't know if if you heard it, you can tell it, finish telling it. I don't know the ending to that, but it's a joke apparently. But what is the learning from that is, when I heard it, what came to me is, sometimes we are the common denominators. When we can identify the problems and the challenges that keep happening to us, yeah, we can then have the ability to change the language of challenges happening for us, not happening to us like very victim. It happens for us. How many of you also know what I'm talking about? That a lot of the challenges that happen in our life, yeah, if we know how to read it well, they are indications, they are messages all laid along the track of life for us to learn it. And until we learn it, it just keeps happening over and over again. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Give me a heart or give me a thumbs up if you understand that part. And for what it's worth, when you analyze the challenges, now when you analyze challenges, you see how are some of the recurring patterns. Sometimes they recur. All right, now how many of you have done this before? You've done a life map. If you've done a life map, any of you have done a life map, please write it down into the comments so that other people can say, oh, what's that? Now, if you've done a life map, have you mapped your life from the day you were born until now? Okay, just take a big huge piece of paper and then draw on it. So mark down all your major milestones, the times in your life that you can remember, your time when you went to college, and the time when you went to when you started your business, and then the time that embarked on a huge project. Fantastic. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Peggy. Emma, fantastic. So if you have ever done that before, your life map can actually show you a lot of the challenges, and you'll identify with patterns. And that will be able to tell you, how come I keep undergoing this? And I can tell you, one of the things that showed up in my life map, I've had a lot of amazing successes when I focus. And this is me, when I focus. And I've also have had a lot of failures when I am too distracted, when I've had too many opportunities come my way, and then I couldn't say no because I was not focusing on my core. Now, that's how I came to doing a lot of what I'm doing now with a lot of full focus, because I identified some patterns. So how many of you need to identify those patterns that are not just business? Some of it is personal as well. So that's fantastic. Oh, it's going to be like a life map family therapy program. Fantastic. Thank you, Angela. Those of you who want to plot your life map, please talk to Angela. Yes, Elizabeth, thank you. It's like a heart in ICU. Thank you. Life map. Start doing it. Amazing. Okay. And so when I bring you into identifying your leadership intelligence, I now we have an opportunity with this. We've got this all these different ways to read your life and to read qualities and values that are important to you as a leader. And all of us are very different, right? So what I want to do for you is I want to bring you on a steep learning curve without the challenges, without throwing you into the deep end of the pool and going, oh my So I want to bring you there, but I also want you to be able to identify different types of styles you have to protect yourself. Okay, so this is very, very important as we go, jumping right in. Because for some of you that are on this call, you've heard of AccuMatch, and if you can type it down, please, guys. AccuMatch, AccuMatch. It comes from the word accurate match. All right. So AccuMatch is actually a very powerful leadership intelligence tool that we use, and it will quicken your ability to understand your leadership intelligence. All right. However, today it's not what I'm not going to do is I'm just going to continue referring to the map. Some of you have it and some of you don't. That's okay. All right, so what I want to do is I want to help you see different parts of leadership intelligence that this map does carry that will be able to help you. So if you take a look at the map, it will be able to tell you how you're motivated. Yeah, are you the kind of person that's motivated from pain or pleasure? Yeah, that is over here inside number 4. Are you somebody that needs to have visions and opportunities in front of you, or are you somebody that works better with having the tiger in your back? You will tell a lot of various different areas, but I'm just going to go into it now. So this is a very powerful tool. Yeah. And if I may, from this very, very powerful understanding your leadership intelligence, the key areas of leadership intelligence are 3 areas. All right. Number 1, how you execute, how you take action. So many different people have different ways of taking action, how they execute. Number 2 is decision making. How do you make decisions? Oh, make the diagram bigger. Oh, sorry. My face too big, is it? I'm so sorry. Thank you, Emma. So if you take a look at that, all right. So thank you for asking. So you've got 10 different, so I'm not going to go through all the 10, but all these are very, very important to know about yourself as you are running your businesses and leading your teams. Like how you make decisions. Are you ready for change? How do you make change? What is your speed to trust? How long do you take to trust people? Number 9, what is your motivation to success? We'll talk about that later, yeah, at the end of today. And how do you handle pressure and stress? We have pressure and stress as business owners, leaders, head of departments. There are a lot of things that are outside of our control, and that causes us stress. Do we react with logic or do we react with emotion? So all these things can be found out, and every one of you are going to have this ability to understand yourself. Okay. No. Thank you, Emma. I'm just kidding, just joking. Yeah, this is so much fun. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Interesting. You can use it concurrently with DISC. That's right, DISC is also very, very powerful. All right, so as I get into this, knowing and doing is very different. So like I said, your leadership intelligence, how you lead as a person, can be divided into 3. All right, number 1, how you execute. Number 2, how you make decisions, and we're making decisions all the time, small decisions, big decisions, decisions on, petty cash, and then decisions on strategy to collaborate with a different country, or, decision making. So big, small decisions. And number 3, how do we learn? How do we review? How do we consume information? Okay, now this is also very, very important. So there are actually 3 main parts. So I'm going to go into these 3 main parts very, very, I'm going to try and share as much as I can, because inside this part will teach you how to understand yourself as a leader and how you apply yourself, okay? So the first part is execution and taking action. If I may, text in blue is style of change. So how you take action. So are you the kind of person that takes action in a stable manner? All right, you're stable, you're slow and steady. Yeah, are you a person that makes those changes, or are you a person that makes changes in a very rapid way, very rash, very sudden? Now, this is very important, because if I may, so I highlighted it in red. There is a program for different types of people. How many of you, when you were growing up, when we were growing up, we played this game. We put 2 similar images next to each other, and then we were spotting the difference. And then you have to find the difference. Oh, the tree here is different from this tree. The car is placed here, but over here, the car is over there. If you have ever done that before, how many of you were good at that? You were good at that game. Like, ho, 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 ho. There are 7 differences. Can you find it? Ho, 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 ho. Found all 7. How many of you are good at that? Okay. And how many of you it took you a long time? All your other friends have found the challenge, the changes, but you're still there. I only found 4, if you at all. Okay, so that is called the sameness difference. Some of us are designed to look for the differences, and some of us are designed to look for the sameness of the picture. So that's why we take longer to be able to spot the difference. So if I may, understanding your style of changing, understanding how you change. Now, this is also important because it also determines how you change in your business, how you implement changes. All right. Now, is one good or bad? Rapid but stable. Possible. Possible. Thank you, Emma. Fantastic. Thank you. Still playing. Okay. Now, if I may, is there a good and a bad? Okay. Rapid changes, not necessarily good. Making changes fast is not necessarily good. Making changes slow could be good, but it can also be too slow. So what are those different programs, the different styles that you need to flex when? So this is very, very important because understanding your style of change. Now, this is critical. Yeah, very, very critical. Okay, the next one is your speed to action. Okay, so inside speed to action, there are 3 types of people. I want you to write it down. It's actually highlighted in red over there. Your speed to action, are you number 1, the initiator? You know, you initiate, you can kick the door open, yeah, and then like, wow, all right, I'm ready to rock and roll. Are you an initiator? Number 1. Number 2, are you a waiter? Number 3, are you a reflector? You think, you consider, you think and you consider. Now, this is also very important because there are some people that are high initiators, they kick the door open, but then they have to wait. They wait. So you can see these are all different programs. Then there are some people that actually suffer from, how many of you heard this before? Paralysis by analysis. Sorry, the other way around. Paralysis, they're paralyzed. There's too much information and that stops them from taking action. Okay. And then there are some people, and I've seen a lot of entrepreneurship charts like this. There are some people that initiate far too quickly without enough reflection, due diligence, logical due diligence to look into enough detail. They've gone into it. So this is something that we have to also be very, very aware of as we move into taking action. All right. So this is actually very, very critical. A senior VP that I actually work with is very interesting, but on the 3 of her chart, all right, initiate was very high, like cha boom boom, like really at the ceiling, all right at the top. And initiate was also very high. So I find it very strange. How does someone have high initiate, but also high weight? Now this is really, really cool because she would be very good at initiating things, but she had to wait because her boss, her CEO, was not reverting on decisions for her. So when I worked with her, we also worked with the CEO to say, could you create decision thresholds so that this person that is obviously a very empowered initiative person, she can initiate, but she doesn't have to wait. So this is also part of how we created a better structure to enable your leaders, because enabling your leaders means that they can't be choking and waiting for you, because well, as a CEO you've got a lot of decisions to make in all over the place, right? But if your senior VP is choking and not being able to get her job done, that's something that you also want to be able to look at. All right, so that's very fantastic. Thank you, Emma. Initiator, waiter, and reflector. Okay, and okay, Peggy, fantastic, awesome, awesome stuff. So the key now is that we are being more and more aware about who we are as we come off, how we show up to our team. Okay, the next one on execution is your style, your execution style. Then there are 2 types here. There are people that are options, the options executor, I call them. The options executor are people that need options. Yeah, and they need options, and they're also very good at looking for us. So these people are very good at troubleshooting. So if you give them a problem, yeah, They're very, very good at solving problems on the fly. Yeah, you know, there are some people that are like that. And then you have the procedure executors. So your procedure executors are people that are very compliant. In order for them to do their work, they need you to give them the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got to give them the steps. So the challenge is, if I'm too high of an options person, I become hard to follow as a CEO. Huh? If I'm an options CEO, I'm the leader of my organization, I'm a head of department, and I'm a very options person. That means I'm somebody that crosses the bridge. Let's think of it when we get to the bridge. Let's cross it when we get there. Does that make sense? So that means options CEO doesn't really have a very solid plan. Sometimes the planning is not in place. Okay. The procedure CEO can have a better plan, but the procedure CEO can also be somebody that can get stuck when things happen that doesn't go according to the plan. So then they get a bit jammed. So if I may, there are the right execution programs for different. Now, and if I may, if you are in the events management business, for example, of course, now it's challenging to be in the events management business, gang. But if you're in the events management business, or you're in a business where, or customer service, for example, yeah, if you're in that type of business, you need to be very light on your feet to solve problems, all right? But if you're leading a team and you've got other people that are solving those problems, you know, there are, okay, you've got your customer service operations managers, you've got your general managers that are solving that, and you're the CEO. As if you run that kind of organization, you can't be options anymore. You've got to. So when your team starts growing bigger, you've got to start getting to being a little bit more procedure executor, because when you execute in procedure, you start knowing how to enable a business plan, and that also means that your team can follow the plan. All right, so this is very important, because a lot of people that we coach, they start off on their own with a small team, 5 or 6, 7, 8 people, and they're options. And then when they grow the business, now we've had this lady as well, she grew her business from 8 million to 35 million. She grew her business from 5 people to 45 people. So it was a very big jump in the span of a couple of years. And the challenge is she couldn't switch her execution mode. She was still an option. So you have to be very, very cautious, because an options type CEO and leader can be harder to follow. Okay, but very useful in troubleshooting. Thank you very much. Emma, options executor, very hard to deal with, usually very skeptical, and usually things change very quickly. Oh, very, very hard to follow. Things change very quickly. Okay. And Emma, it was high initiate, high weight. How do we overcome this situation? Thank you so much, Emma. I'll get to this question, but the short answer is, what is making the person wait? Because this person already has a high initiate, but what is he or she waiting for? So I would go in so far to interview this person and find out, ask her or him questions around, what is stalling you? What is stalling you? When do you tend to wait? All right. So this is also very, very powerful, because guys, number 1 was how you execute. Number 2 is your decision making. All right. So how many of you as business owners, you have so many decisions to make? Oh gosh. On a regular basis, you're making all these important decisions, small, medium, large. There's no decision that is not important, but there are so many different types of decisions that we make. You know, how much do we invest in marketing? You know, how much do we, do I give more to my employees? You know, do I give them more responsibilities? You know, do I invest in this customer? Do I take on this project? There's so many decisions that we make. So what is important is, in decision making, is to identify with your reference point. What do I mean by your reference point? Okay. When you make decisions, are you going in to ask yourself first? Okay. What do you want? What are your outcomes? Where do you want to be? Are you asking yourself first and then asking others? Okay. So that is internal and external. Now, this is very, very important, because there are some leaders, yeah, that can be too external. Okay, if you're too external, what it matters is all this feedback from others without your own reference point. So if you're doing that sometimes, and how many of you know what I'm talking about, it's easy to get lost in everything everyone is saying. If you say, okay, shall I do A? No, someone tells you B. No, but have you tried C? No, what about D? Have you tried X? We tried Y before. And then you get lost. So it's external, all right? So, and how many of you also understand sometimes we can be too internal? If we're too internal, we become stubborn. We become stubborn. Lack of a better word, we become, actually, I know that. So this is very interesting because I've had a very bubbly CEO. So she's very bubbly. She's a very wonderful person, and she's always asking for feedback from people. She's always so. Then when she drew up her intelligence report, and because I knew her as well, I looked at her report and I went, are you high internal? So it showed that she was high internal and low external, but she says, cannot be, Marissa, because I ask for feedback all the time. I'm always getting input from people. And then I asked her, when you ask for feedback, do you really want the input, or are you just asking for the sake of asking? And when it really dawned on her, she went, I'm asking feedback just because that's what we do. That's what we do as CEOs. We're asking feedback because we want and this is what she said, we want the input of our team members, and that's their buying into the project I want to run. Oh, wait a minute, that means you're not asking feedback to see if you could correct your decision or make a clearer decision. No, not really, because I already have my own answer. That all came really, really clear. Fantastic, Peggy. When we are handling the human, this is common. If you're handling human beings, very, very common. So it is very important to know your reference point in making decisions. So when it comes to this, all right, and if I may, for those of you, and we've seen a lot of different leaders that we've coached as well, what you want to have is a little bit of a higher, slightly higher internal. Okay. In fact, when a decision needs to be made, always ask yourself first, what is your ideal outcome? What would you rather? What would you like to have? Ask yourself first. Okay, understand that. Great. Then ask for, get feedback. Get feedback, external. So then you're not shutting yourself out from the world, but neither are you just going with the flow of what everybody is saying, because that can be detrimental to you as a leader and as a business owner. Okay. Fantastic. Now, guys, at this point, if you have questions, pop it right in. I'm going to go a little bit over time, so stay with me because I think we're finishing up, but we're getting really, really awesome sharing here, gang. So throw your questions on, and I would love to get to them at the end. All right. The next one on decision making also is, are you a peacekeeper or are you a challenger? There are some people that in making decisions, sometimes they make decisions to peacekeep. Yeah, so I have a picture of a monk there. Peacekeeping, why? Because if you're peacekeeping, you're trying to make a decision for the overall benefit of everyone. Yeah, versus, let me go to the extreme, people that are the challengers. So I put a photo of a wrestler there. So the challenger are people that are, when everybody agrees on, okay, let's all agree on doing A, they say, why not B? Why not C? Why not D? So you have to also identify, where are you? Are you the peacekeeper or are you the challenger? Now, this is also critical. Why? Because you also know where are you making decisions just to keep everybody happy? Now, this is important because one of the CEOs that we've also coached, and she's amazing. She's amazing. She's a superpower woman, and she had one of the highest contrarian challenger programs that I've ever had. And you know what she says to me? She says that her biggest challenge is that she's unable to delegate to her team. And unable to delegate to her team, why? Because she continues to hold them at very high standards, and she's not able to continue delegating and assigning projects because they just don't meet up to her standard. But then when we did her report, we found out that she's a very high contrarian. She challenges too much that it becomes exhausting for her team to follow. Yeah, very good. Thank you so much, Emma. Great. Ask yourself first and then ask others. So it's internal to external, not external to internal. Okay, very good. Information size also on decision making. How many of us actually make decisions based on the big picture, on global thinkers? They can see the vision, they can see the macro. All right, and then the detailed thinkers, they can actually see the details. They're very meticulous, they go into. Now the challenge is, as a global leader, if you're global size, you consume information on a global size, global versus detail. What happens is your global, uh, depending on which program you're running when, if you're a global thinker, what can happen is that you can miss out the details. You're so focused on the big picture that you're not able, it becomes tiring, it becomes a struggle to focus on the detail. Now, guys, that's all. One of the things that happens to me as well is because I'm a very global thinker, but my challenge is that I can't go into enough detail. So what I do is, because I knew my detail was so low, I actually flex myself. See, I call it flex your style of consumption. So it's not that if you're a global size person, it's not that you cannot consume the tail. You need to focus harder when you look at the details. You need to focus harder. It means you consume more energy, and you need to be conscious and aware that you're going into the, okay, I'm looking at the financials now. Okay, I'm going into my legal agreements now. You focus on, because a lot of mistakes in business happen in the detail. That's where we also need to make sure. And for some people, they're too high detail. So they're so high in the detail that they lose the big picture, and they analyze. And sometimes, because the detail is so strong that they don't know how to move the timeline, they can't see the forest for the trees. So having either makes us open. We have a lot of blind spots open to making mistakes. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Be responsible on decisions and understand the reason for its rewarding, meaning having the ability to respond and act when it's needed. Fantastic. Absolutely. Or just a response without act. So this is very, very, thank you so much, Peggy. Very important. Yeah. Holistic thinker. I think I'm a holistic thinker, which clashes with the traditional business. Okay, we'll find out soon enough. Okay, so this is important. All right. The next thing that I want to share with you guys is about the third part. How do we look at our lives? Now, this is very important. I was looking for this word to describe myself, holistic thinker. Thank you. Whole, looking at it as a whole. So the next thing I want to share with you is, where is your leadership timeline? And I like to talk about this because time is a concept. What do I mean by time is a concept? It means it is subjective. The time here at 11 a.m. is different from America, is different from Canada, is different from Indonesia, different parts of Indonesia, right? So, and if I may, time is a concept. So time as we treat it is very different. And it's important, because how we treat time, if I am a person that is very past oriented, I make a lot of decisions by making reference to things in the past. If I am future oriented, I make a lot of decisions today to fulfill a future that is uncertain. But if I'm a present person, present leader, I make a lot of decisions in the here and now. So what's the percentage? What's the percentage? There is a good healthy percentage, yeah. But just to give you a better understanding on this as well, gang, how many of you know the concept of time for us has changed? And when we were 10 years old, yeah, how many of you have been 10 years old before? Okay, many. All right. If you have been 10 years old before, how many of you had that belief that you could live to 100, and then or you will live forever, you know? And how many of you at that 10-year-old, you believe that your parents would live forever? The concept of thinking that one day they won't be around was absolutely unreal. If you've ever had that before, and when did you start to realize, hey, people don't live forever? At what point? Oh, at what point did you realize actually life is very precious? Some people start learning that at 40s, their 30s, but some people learn that in their 20s. So if I may, yeah, this example of the concept of time that changes along with life. This is also what we call your leadership timeline. Where do you live? People who live in the future a lot, They live in the future a lot. They give very little to themselves in the present. How many of you know I'm talking about? We call that self gratification. And as an entrepreneurs, we're very good at gratifying ourselves very little now because we are investing in the future. And how many of us know the future is very uncertain? That's one of the things that I've learned too. I kept investing in the future. Never mind, I will do this for myself later. Never mind, I will go cycling later. Never mind, I will go and do my 10-day road trip in Taiwan. I will do that later when I'm successful, when I'm this, when I'm that. But it dawned on me, my own life realization, guys, is it dawned on me that this future is so uncertain. I have friends younger than me that are passing away because of failed pregnancies. They're passing away because of heart attacks. People that are younger than me, I cannot imagine it. So I just went, okay, I'm going to live in the present. The living in the present. That's why they call it living in the present, because the present is your gift. Absolutely. The present is a gift, the gift of now. I never realized that. I thought I was going to live forever. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Okay. So if you at all have that, so it's very important. Okay. Success strategy. Success strategy. Success strategy is how you approach success. Yeah. Thank you so much, Peggy, living in the present. Thank you so much, Emma. Used to be like overthinking the future. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So these are all the paths that I walked. And as an entrepreneur, I love walking this path because it's important to me, because the more I also walk the path, it makes me experience so much more that I can share it over here with all of you as entrepreneurs, leaders. You're doing your part, but remember, don't give up the present. All right, don't give up the present. Don't give it so much up that you lose sight of how much you get to enjoy your life today. That's crucial. Awesome. Elizabeth, often we guilt trip ourselves and we choose to pamper ourselves now. Yeah, pamper. Please gratify yourself today, because the days you live is now, not later. All right? Very good. Your success strategy. Some of you, your approach to success can be the visionary. Okay. The visionary are people that are very good at dreamers. So they are the dreamers. Yeah. They are the dreamers. You've got your sometimes you build those castles in the sky. Steve Jobs is a visionary. Steve Jobs could imagine that people are going to use their finger and swipe. Never in the world. Before this, we use our thumbs to type, but now we swipe. So it's very interesting because the visionaries imagine what is not there. Okay. So you have your visionaries. Okay. Good imagination, but sometimes can lack execution. All right. You can lack execution. You can also lack believers. Yeah. You're the realist. Some of you, your approach to your business and your success, all right, is being the realist. Being the realist means you're very practical. It's what I need to do today. It's what I need to survive. It's what I got to do to get the income in, to make ends meet, boom, boom. So very practical, realists, all right? And some of you are, now this is very interesting, is that you would also live your life quality control. So quality control is a risk management approach. A risk management approach means we can approach our life and our success by avoiding mistakes, avoiding problems. All right. So now this is very important, because whether your approach is, and you can have more than one approach. You don't only have to have one. Yeah, you have more than one approach, but you want to see which approach are you coming from. Because for a lot of us as leaders and entrepreneurs, sometimes the quality control can be very strong. Quality control is, for example, if I'm in the business of accounting, I'm in the business of legal, I'm in the business of engineering. If I'm in that type of business, quality control is important, because those types of businesses is about avoiding mistakes for the client. You're looking for problems in their financial statements. You're helping them to avoid blind spots. So you question and you look for what's wrong. But when you approach your business from a quality control standpoint, what happens to your goals? What happens to your dreams? So there are some people that like to quality control their dreams. You quality control your vision. So then you're looking for all the things that could go wrong. So a lot of the time, quality control as a approach, you want to manage that well, so that you're also not trying to look for issues and problems in the things that you want to try and grow. So and also, if I may, um, the different types of approaches are necessary for different roles. So if you're hiring somebody and they are your quality assurance, they are your customer service person, they're the people that's supposed to help you avoid those mistakes, then they are the ones with the quality control, while you can exercise more visionary or realist. Yeah. And for what it's worth, in the current MCO, current now during COVID-19, many of us have turned into realists. We need to be realistic. We can't keep painting pictures in the castles in the sky, like, oh yeah, I have to. And as Jack Ma put it, year 2020 is about survival. So many people, although they have been visionaries, they have switched their program and moved to being realistic. Now that's also important, knowing your approach at what time. All right. So guys, that is very, very important, because if I may, when you understand your leadership intelligence, thank you so much, Edward, and thank you, Peggy. Yes, I have been there before and doing the best to pull myself back to the present. Life is too precious. No, you are absolutely right. Thank you, Peggy. I had to be slapped in the face. Now, I was slapped in the face not by a coach or a mentor. They didn't have time to do that with me. I just went straight into it. I burnt out. There were days when I couldn't wake up anymore. I was so exhausted. I was pretty much useless to anybody in my life. But because I realized that I was investing too much in a future that would not come, and if I had continued to do what I was doing, I probably wouldn't even be here today. I was falling very, very sick, very exhausted, full of stress. So if I may, it's very important to read the signs and know who we are. Okay, so it's really, really important to know yourself. And for those of you who have this report, so true, we need to shift to be realistic, but we also need to continue to dream. Thank you very much. Uh, Thank you so much as well, Peggy. Little of everything that you shared. Thank you. That's also my life that that I've been sharing with you. And sometimes I'm forced to into these different approaches to satisfy needs. Am I a rojak in managing that, Peggy? You got to be a little bit of everything. But let me share it with you. Okay. So for those of you like Peggy who want to know more about yourselves, please, yeah, you will be able. And of course, knowing more about yourself, sometimes we think we know ourselves very well. But if I may, what I have found is when people question me, yeah, like how my coach questions me, yeah, and when he questions me, it gives me an opportunity to process and answer, because sometimes we cannot identify the questions we need to ask ourselves. So what we put together is, if you're interested about understanding yourself better, we actually offer this. So we actually offer somebody who wants to do their leadership report, intelligence report, and also to get a debrief. Actually, a program like this, one session, one-to-one, and the whole program is customized to you. Okay, it's 1,500 ringgit, 1,500, and again the US dollar equivalent, because we are actually promoting this all across Asia, but only for today, because we have actually a few tokens, and we have coaches ready to give away some slots. They're actually going to make this out to you at 280 ringgit only. So the report plus the debrief, we're giving it to you at 280. All you need to do is you need to click on the link at the bottom. So it's typed in, guys. You can't click on that link over there, but the link is inside the comment. So go right in there and click on that, and we'll give you your full 26-page report plus a debrief. You just have to hook up with my team, and then they'll assign a one-to-one coach to go through your report with you. After digesting it, we'll go through that, and only all at 280 for the first 5 people that actually register with us. So please do that, gang. All right. And for those of you who had a really, really good time today, I hope you had a good time. For those of you who enjoyed yourself today, if you did, HRDF claimable, Peggy, we can talk a little bit more. Please, my team is very happy. Yes, a lot of our programs are actually HRDF claimable as well. But yes, please, Peggy, our team will be able to help you with that. Thank you so much, Betty. We need to know more. Thank you, thank you. And for those of you who, I've understood a lot about myself. You know, my discovery. You know, so I've understood myself. You know, and I've coached myself a lot. I probably worked with a coach. So some of you on this call, you've worked with coaches before. Please, that is fantastic. Keep that discovery going. Now, for me, I work with coaches. I don't leave myself in my own hands. That's why I work with a coach to continue questioning me, to continue saying, Marissa, is this what you really want? Is this aligned with you? Are your actions and your decisions aligned with your intentions? I have somebody that keeps questioning me. And for those of you who already have that, and you say, okay, I've coached myself, now I want to coach others. Okay, please join us for our webinar. So we also have, we call these enabling the skill of coaching in every leader. So now you've coached yourself, you can coach others. And again, I'm going to leave you a very special code. Each of these webinars is about an hour and a half, 1.5 to 2 hours, guys, because we're going to teach you. It's a lot of framework, like how you've seen today. We're actually been teaching you, we've been showing you the way. So we're actually going to give you frameworks. There will be a workbook sent your way. So there's a lot to apply, 68 ringgit. But if you use this code, the leadership code, please, LEADERSHIP, leadership. For the first 10 registrants, we're going to give it to you at 28 ringgit only, including the workbook, guys. So everything else. So this is something that we're going to give you to enable the skill of coaching. So this is how you learn how to coach and lead other people. Okay, so this is something that I'm going to leave with you guys. Please go to the link at the bottom, the sparkgroup.asia employee whisperer, and the code is only valid for the first 10. Please, by all means, do that. We're very, very happy that you can join us again. I would love to see you in one of our future webinars. Okay. And that is a wrap. Okay, so that is where we're at, gang. Thank you, Emma. Awesome. Have I got some time for questions? I know I've overran. Oh my gosh, sometimes I just feel like I wanna share so much more. Can we roll up, guys, on some questions? I think that has been really amazing. And those of you who have time, please stay for the questions. I just want to be able to pick on that. Okay, Spark Group Asia, can I have the link, please? The link is inside the comments. All right, please pin the link. Boleh, tak apa, no problem at all. So we will share it with you. Awesome. You guys are amazing. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Awesome. I spotted a question earlier. Guys, if you have a question, please pop it in. I spotted it, but some of our other apps that we use, we can actually save the question, but now I'm hunting for it. Where is it? Oh, very good. Oh, what if you know you are burning out but have no choice because you need to pay the bills? Oh, thank you, Liz. That's fantastic. For those of you who want to stay for that question, now for me, Liz, if I may, if you are burning out, if you know people that are burning out, but they still need to pay the bills, yeah, it's also important that you also assess yourself. Are you working hard to pay bills, or it's beyond paying the bills? So if I may, a lot of time we don't work hard to pay bills. I think that's not, and the focus is not just paying bills. It shouldn't be the immediate. What I like to work with leaders, people in leadership positions, is a lot of the time it is beyond paying the bills. It is beyond the salary. It is beyond the job. And I like to focus on that, because that is the why, not the income, not the salary. Because when you know what you are doing and working hard for beyond that, there is going to be more energy and more emotion, more passion into driving it, that will allow you to go much further. Like, a lot of people also tend to ask me this, Marissa, how do you have so much energy? It's because I don't focus on working. In fact, what I'm doing right now, I don't consider it working. I don't consider it like, oh my gosh, another live. Oh no, I don't. It's not. That's not what I look at it from. I look at it from a point of serving my purpose, serving my mission. And so not a single thing that I do feels like work. So if I may, if you're burning out, my sense, if any person that you're talking to is burning out, my sense is that it could be what they're focusing on. Okay. All right. I hope that helped you in a little bit, gang. All right. Thank you, Tim. Awesome. Thanks. Love you too. Love you guys. Thank you for showing me all your love, guys. For those of you who enjoyed today's session, if I didn't answer your question, if I didn't get to it and you have more burning questions, please write to me and my team. Please, guys, can you please share? Guys, just write to me, talk to me. TALK2, number 2, talk to me at maresaeng.com. I'm very, very happy to answer all of your questions and, your burning questions. And those of you who enjoyed today, just give me a bit of a heart, give me a bit of a like. Yeah. And I hope to see you more for more to see you for more of our webinars coming up. We actually have another one coming up on Friday where we talk about, how do you get your employees to speak up? Oh, Ellen, you're on this call. Awesome, awesome. Okay, good, good, good. So we have another live coming up on Friday. And we have several webinars that are coming up next week. So guys, please like the Spark Group Asia fan page and also get your approval into leaders of the new norm. Now, this is a Facebook group because we share a lot of tools and resources inside that group. So if you're not already in there, get right ahead in there. Thank you so much, gang. I hope you have a blast. Enjoy yourself today. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Visaka, Tim. Awesome, awesome, gang. You guys are amazing. Love you back. Love you back. um, and I'll see you in the Abdul Majid. We baru habis. We just finished. No problem. What guys? Watch the replay if you want to be able to learn more. But hope to see you again soon. Take care and bye for now.